£225 for a dinner where you're not going to get any meat, if you're a meat eater, doesn't seem very good value for money.
I'd say £225 for most dinners is not fantastic value for money. Here the question isn't about meat, the question is times are changing. Your first tweet when you joined Twitter, 15th of July 2017, was tempora mutantur, times change and we change with them, et nos mutamur in illis.
I'm very impressed.
Thank you very much.
Looked up my first tweet.
I did. But times are changing and we do need to change with them. We know that the climate is evolving, as you've said yourself. We know the IPCC reports, we know scientists around the world are in consensus that times are changing and the climate's changing. And the best thing that we can do as individuals to help that is to adopt an increasingly plant-based diet.
But is that actually true? Isn't there evidence that actually the effect of pasture land and sheep is beneficial for the environment?
No, so about 85% of the UK farmland is actually for feeding cows, feeding sheep.
For pasture land, yeah.
Pasture land, exactly. This is a huge opportunity cost. If the world were to go vegan tomorrow, hypothetically speaking, we would actually need 75% less land to grow the same amount of food. Now, that's not just important environmentally, that's important in terms of food equity. People around the world are starving. There's 1 billion people without enough food. If we were to go vegan tomorrow, we could actually grow enough plant-based food to feed everybody, which is a massive deal.
But we do feed everybody. The ability to grow food has come about because of technological innovations, and you've seen this since Malthus wrote, saying that we would run out of food. Actually, agricultural productivity has increased by 2% a year, and there is sufficient food grown to feed the whole world, and that people's diets have improved as they've taken on more meat and dairy, which has given them stronger bones, they've grown taller. This has been hugely beneficial for mankind.
The important question is whether or not that's sustainable. So there's a book called 60 Harvests Left, which says that actually we don't actually have that much time left, and that's all down to soil health. What we need to do is adopt a food system which is efficient in terms of land usage, efficient in terms of resource production, efficient in terms of energy usage, and the most efficient way of producing food is simply a plant-based one. Reason being, you're taking an entire level out of the food chain. You're no longer feeding all of that food to animals, you're feeding it straight to humans, and you can do amazing things with it. So Darwin College, Cambridge, which has gone plant-based for the first time at their May Ball this year, their food is going to be amazing, and they've said themselves, this body of students have said they wouldn't have done this unless they knew they could provide tasty, delicious food and better than the normal standard.
But surely that's a matter of taste, and if you're paying this £225, you should be entitled to choose a meat diet if that's what you want.
Sure, but you pay £225 for a meal, you get given a whole array of food, some of which you like, some of which you don't like. That's the case whether you're serving meat or not.
But this is very dirigist, isn't it? It's saying you can only have plant-based food.
But there's a huge variety of plant-based food. So the average omnivore, back when I ate meat, back when I ate dairy, a number of years ago now, I would eat the same kind of 5 animals on rotation, plus a handful of plants, bananas and carrots and so forth. Now that I've gone vegan, actually, my diet has increased in terms of the plants that I eat vastly. I eat all sorts of ingredients now that I never had before, and they're all delicious.
Well, that's a matter of taste, though, isn't it?
Well, everything's, yeah, of course.
But that's right. But this is stopping people having the taste that they actually want. So that people like me who like cream and like butter and like meat, why should we be forced to eat vegetables? I don't much like any vegetables, not compared to meat or cream.
Sure, but you can actually now have stuff which is cream, which is meat, tastes like cream, but it's plant-based. You can have amazing things. If you go down the local supermarket...
I'm very suspicious of this taste like. That imitation... Do you remember all those adverts there used to be for things that weren't butter but tasted like butter? They never did. They're always disgusting.
Sure, well, again, that's a matter of taste.
That's right.
But
it's the trying to enforce it that is the issue.
Sure, so the matter of enforcing, there's always this trope about vegans where forcing our diets down the throats of other people. The question more is, are you forcing your diet down the throats of animals as well, and around people around the world? And also, in terms of climate change, you can make a choice. I'm not going to tell you what to eat tonight, of course. But when you do go and eat tonight, you have a choice. Do you want to eat something which tastes good but destroys the planet, kills animals and harms people around the world?
Well, I think the evidence that it destroys the planet is very limited.
I know, it's very...
Actually, the countryside that we have is created because of the way we farm, that the beauty of England is created by our farmers.
So the beauty of England is because we deforested it hundreds of years ago in order to raise cattle. It would be far more beautiful if it still had the forest that it once had, which we could have if we shifted to a plant-based food system.
It would be very difficult for us to live in an England that was entirely forested, and we've got more forest now than we have had since the Middle Ages, because trees have been regrowing on marginal land because agricultural techniques have got better. But you've got to be able to grow the food that you need, and that a lot of the land in Somerset, for instance, is fit for pasture land. It's not going to be fit for growing cereals.
Of course, but we have almost no ancient forests, which is a massive biodiversity issue. There's something like 1 million species around the world which are currently endangered, and the leading cause of biodiversity loss, Viva campaigned on this last year in a thing called Eating the Earth, is actually eating meat, fish, dairy and eggs, which is a huge deal. If we were to stop eating meat, fish, dairy and eggs, have delicious plant-based options instead, not only would we get a forest back, but we'd also have huge amounts of biodiversity benefit as well.
But we'd lose quite a lot of species, because what's going to happen to all the cattle and all the sheep?
Well, we'd still have those in sanctuaries and so forth, but we
just have a few in sanctuaries.
We only breed those into existence by the billion in order to kill them a short amount of time after they're born.
Not necessarily a short amount of time, and they lead. I mean, a milk cow will live to about 10, if not older. It's a full life.
They're killed on average about 4.5 years of age.
Yeah, but a milk cow goes on.
So they're actually also killed about 4.5 years of age, milk cows. Then the male calves are basically killed almost immediately. They're sold into the veal or the beef industries.
But they taste very good.
Because they're useless. They taste very good, and I actually agree with you.
Yeah.
But
so
I would
why
say
should we
that
deprive
sensory
ourselves
pleasure,
of things that taste good when these cows, otherwise wouldn't live at all?
Because sensory pleasure is not more important than the life of a sentient being.
I'm sorry to cut you short.